2022 March Cheesesteak Madness. The judges bracket. First round, second group of 4 cheesesteaks from the Philadelphia region. Fun night at Pennsport Beer Boutique with special guest judge Louis the Foodie and his wife, camerawoman Lizzie. I was the third judge, so I was busy eating and taking notes instead of taking video of us eating the first 2 cheesesteaks. But Lizzie and Louie do a good job describing the cheesesteaks, and let's get to the video.
March Cheesesteak Madness, first round, Philadelphia region, special guest judges, Louie the Foodie, and everybody knows her work because she films Louie the Foodie. Lizzie. All right, first up, Philadelphia bracket, we got the number 1 seed, Charlie's roast pork versus Avenue Steaks. Lizzie, because you're holding the mic, I guess you're going first.
All right. Let's start talking about Avenue. Is that okay with you?
Good. Let's go, Jim.
Lizzie, whatever you want to do.
All right. I want to start talking about Avenue because that was the first one we tried. The Cheers roll was fantastic. Had a good bite to it. Was soft, but not too soft. The outside had a nice bite to it. I don't know if it held up to the meat and the cheese in the way that I was hoping for, but this was the first cheesesteak in which I was open to having mushrooms and really enjoyed it. The mushrooms were fantastic.
The Cheesesteak Adventure, winning friends and influencing people.
Yeah, let's see. I thought that the size of the cut, like the cut of the meat was really good. I think it could have been a little better seasoned, but I think that the combination of the meat and the cheese was good. When the cheese and the meat were together, I thought that was a really good balance of things. That was really nice.
Cheese settled on the bottom a little. Cheese settled on the bottom a little.
The cheese did settle on the bottom a little bit, but where they came together was really wonderful. And yeah, I thought the onions were great. They were almost crispy. They were so thin and so like hardly cooked in a really, really good way. They were sweet. They had nice quality to it in that sense. It was almost like having, I don't know, like sprinkles on ice cream. Just like a little something extra special. I really like that part of it. We didn't talk about that before. Here's my opinion.
Funny, we didn't think about that before, but that is it's an interesting take on them. It definitely stood out.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on?
Yes. Thanks, Lizzie. I would also echo most of what you said. I thought the roll was excellent. The Cheetos is always great. Hard to mess that one up. I like the onions and mushrooms.
I'd like to thank you, Lizzie.
Trying to be courteous here. We're on the air. I thought the mushroom onions were good. The onions I agree. They were tasty.
If you're not courteous, I can edit it out.
Sorry?
If you're not courteous, I can edit it out.
Oh. Well, thanks for fucking taking my airtime, Lizzie. I thought the onions were good. The mushrooms were tasty and mushroomy. They were on the crispier side. They didn't really get soggy the way they could in a sandwich some of the times. I thought they sort of actually echoed the texture of the meat in an interesting way. As a Midwesterner, I'm not opposed to the idea of mushrooms on the cheesesteak to begin with. So
Give me that look.
it's your first time, so I must have been here for a while. The cheese was really good, but I'd echo that it was good when it was present.
You got to.
Yeah, the bottom bites of the cheesesteak are really good. The top bites, where it wasn't, the cheese not there, weren't quite as good. I thought the meat was meaty. Sounds tautological, but it had a nice beefy taste to it. I would have wanted a little bit, maybe juicier, a little bit more seasoned, especially with lack of cheese on the top of the cheesesteak.
Sometimes you need to explain that to my audience.
Lizzie, what do you think about Charlie's?
All right. Let's go in order here. I started talking about the Cheers roll at Avenue. So with Charlie's, I thought that I was at first upset that it was scooped. I did not like that decision was made for me, but I also thought that it was a really good decision. I gotta have one of those.
I'll drive.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I thought the bread held up really nicely. I think the amount of it and the texture of it really held up to the rest of the sandwich, which was really good. Going into the meat, I thought this was really well seasoned. The garlic elements of it, we kind of talked about the steakhouse comparison. You know, the meat itself is not a steakhouse meat, but the whole experience, the flavors, definitely was reminiscent of steakhouse, which was exciting.
I like that you did not like that they made the decision to scoop your roll for you. That's always been one of my things about the whole adventure. Like, I had no idea what scooping was before the adventure, and if I saw someone taking my bread out of my roll, I would have been like, yo,
Yeah!
that's my bread. I will decide what is scooped and what isn't scooped. I like that. Aside, I might have to look at you from a different angle now, considering the whole sunny state.
I feel like the strategy of the scoop is to give you more stomach space to enjoy other things, so you don't get too full from the bread, especially if you're having, like, you know, a beer or water or any sort of drink with it, that you can enjoy the rest of it more if you have less bread expanding in your stomach. I don't know.
All right, thanks for
That
coming
last
back
sip
here.
of beer is ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I was a big fan of Charlie's. There have been a few times in the last couple of years when I've tried a cheesesteak that I was embarrassed that I've never tried before, and this is one of those times. Charlie's was terrific. I love the meat seasoning. As you sort of mentioned, it's the garlic. It tastes like black pepper, maybe some whole peppercorns in there. Really complex, really good. Not super salty, but really well seasoned in other ways. The cheese was certainly present in a way that isn't always when you don't get whiz. There's a lot of American cheese in here. One of the heaviest cheese sandwiches I've had,
Yeah.
at least for that whiz, for sure. I thought the roll was pretty good. I thought Den's mushrooms were pretty good. This is all about the meat and the cheese. It reminded me a lot of Mama's, which is a pretty good compliment to compare it to Mama's. Anything else to add, Lizzie?
I think you've got it all. Very happy.
2 for Charlie's.
Yeah.
Charlie's moves on, second round.
Okay.